Okay, so I'm going to give you a quick demo on how to use the new presentation mode within Conferences.io. And what the new presentation mode allows you to do is to upload a PowerPoint deck or Keynote deck directly into the app. And once it's uploaded, it makes it really simple to embed poll results directly into your presentation so that you can avoid flipping between windows, showing your PowerPoint presentation and then flipping to the Conferences.io app in the web browser. So what the presentation mode also allows you to do is for your attendees, they're going to be able to actually follow along with your slides and view them right on their own device. So as you're going through your slides, they're going to be able to see those on their phone or their iPad or whatever they're using, and actually follow along, right in their hands. So I've got my presentation all ready to go here, and what I need to do is to export my presentation into a PDF. So this is really easy. It takes 10 seconds to do. The only downside is that if you have transition effects in your presentation, you're going to lose those. But generally, that's not a huge issue. So I'm going to go in and go ahead and export my presentation to a PDF. I'm going to want to make sure that all of those options are turned off there. And then I'm just going to choose to save this to my desktop. So I exported it to a PDF and I'm all set to go. So now I've got my Conferences.io session pulled up here, and I'm going to go into the session settings and then click upload a new presentation. And I'll just choose the file, and there it is, presentation demo PDF. I'm going to hit that, upload it, and it will take a few seconds to upload. Alright, the presentation is now uploaded right into the app, and you'll notice that it gives us this kind of crazy file name, but that's just to make sure that there are no duplicates when everyone is uploading their presentation. So if you want to, you can really easily change the name. We'll just call this, my presentation. Alright, so I've changed the name now, and once my presentation is uploaded, I can actually go in and view my slides, and I can move these around and make reorders if I need to. But for now, this is fine. And what I'm going to want to do next is to start embedding some of my poll results. So I'm going to go back into my session here, and I've already got 2 polls created that I know I want to embed into my presentation. So I'm going to click on this first one, which asks, what industry do you currently work in? And what I'm going to do is scroll down here and click embed in a presentation, and then choose which one I want to embed it in. Since I only have one, I only have one option here, but I'll go ahead and hit embed into my presentation. And you'll notice that we now have a new slide with this green color, which is the results from this poll. Okay, so if you notice, I actually set up some slides in my actual presentation to kind of show where I want to stop and view the results. So this second slide in here says, okay, poll, we're going to ask, what industry do you currently work in? So I'm going to want to reorder this right behind that slide, and then I'll hit save, and I'm going to go back and then do the same for this second poll question. And so you can see that I have another slide here that's telling me that I'm ready to ask my second poll question. And so I can embed it right into there. And what you can also do is, if you need to, you can delete slides right from your presentation. So if you click on this enable slide removal, and then you just click on a slide, and it will actually remove it from your presentation. But I don't actually want to delete any, so I'm not going to do that right now. Now, before I finish, what I'm also going to do is embed the blended results of these 2 polls. So I already know that I'm going to want to look at the kind of cross tabulation of the results between these two polls. So what I'm going to see is of the people who work in each industry, which social media platforms do they use? So what I'm going to do now is go ahead and actually blend these two polls. Even though there are no results in there yet, I'm just going to go ahead and set it up, and I'm going to blend it with what industry do you currently work with, or I'm sorry, work in. So we can see that the blended graph is all set up. There are no responses in there, so it's currently blank. But I can actually go ahead and embed this into my presentation right now, since I know that I'm going to want to view those results in real time. So I'm going to put this in right after my second poll question there, and hit save. Alright, so we've got our presentation all set up, and now what I have displayed on my screen are two windows. On the left I have the moderator or the presenter point of view, and then on the right I have the audience point of view. So it's time for my presentation. I've got Conferences.io all set up, my audience is joined. So what I'm going to do now is start my presentation. So I go into my settings page here, I click View Current Presentations, I've got my presentation.pdf, and I'm going to hit Start Presentation. Now, what this will allow you to present in full screen mode, just like you would in PowerPoint or Keynote or whatever tool you're using. You can present in full screen mode through this, but for the purpose of this demo, I'm going to leave it in kind of half screen mode here for you. And one important thing to note before we start here is that if we look at our polls, the two polls that I have created right here are currently locked. So just keep a note of that in a few moments. So I've got the presentation going here, and if you notice on my audience side, I'm actually able to see the slide that is being projected right now. And I'm able to see this on my own phone, iPad, whatever I'm using. And as I go through my different slides here, this will update on the participants page. So they can literally follow along with you as you're going through the slides. So I've just created some kind of dummy slides here. They're very boring, but they'll serve the purpose of this demo. So then I'm going to get to this one where it says it's a poll, and I'm going to ask them, what industry do you work in? So I say, okay, everyone get ready to respond to this poll, and once I click next, it's going to bring me to that page of results. So this is the slide which we've embedded our poll results into. And if you notice that on the audience side, I now see this poll, which was currently locked before. So that's what I wanted you to kind of keep a note of, was that once you hit the slide in your presentation, it will actually automatically unlock that poll for you. So you don't have to worry about that. So I also see this big button here that says Go to Poll. And if I click it, I'm able to respond to a poll just like I would normally through Conferences.io. So I'm going to say that I work in tech. I'm going to hit Submit. And as the attendee, I'm able to see these results on my own device. And on the presentation side, this graph of results updates in real time, just like it would through the normal application. But this page is being projected on the big screen. So this is what's really great about this new presentation mode, is that it allows you to embed these polls directly in the presentation and view the results in real time without having to flip windows. So it makes it really seamless to work these into your presentation. So as the attendee, once I'm done responding to this poll, I'll hit go back, and as the presenter, I'm going to go to my next slide. We'll talk about why you should use social media for a few moments. And then I'm going to go to this next one. I'm going to show some sort of graph here. As the attendee, I'm able to see this graph both on the big screen and on my own device. And then I'm going to go to this next poll question. So I'm going to say, okay, now I want to know, what social media platforms do you guys use? So get ready to respond to this poll. go to the next results. Again, the go to poll button pops up on my page. I click it, and this question is set up as a multiple choice, but a mark all that apply type question. So I don't only have to choose one response. And I'm going to say I use Facebook, Twitter, and LinkedIn, and a blog. I hit submit. I'm able to see these results again, both on my device and on the screen that's being projected. And these graphs will continue to update in real time. So it's not just the first response. You don't have to refresh the page. As new responses are coming in, these graphs will be shifting around and changing to reflect those. Okay, so I've got my results to this final poll question here, and I'm going to go to my next question. And this one was set up as the blended poll. So if you remember, we set up that blending between those two initial poll questions, and it's a little hard to see what's going on here since we only have one response. And I'm going to show you what a blended poll looks like when there are more responses in for both questions. This is just one person responding. So what we can see is that of the people who said that they work in tech, which was only one, here are the media platforms that they use: Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, blog. So again, I'm going to show you a better example here in a moment, but just so that you could see how this setup works, you can embed that blended poll right into the presentation. You don't have to press any buttons during the presentation. It will automatically pull up this graph for you. One thing to note on these blended results, though, are that these graphs actually do not show up on the audience device. So whether you're using presentation mode or just the standard app, the blended results graphs currently do not show up on the audience's devices. So unless you're projecting this in front of them, that's the only way that they'll be able to see this. So I hit my next slide, and that's the end of my presentation. So again, this will pop up on the audience page there in a moment. There it is. And at this point, you can end your presentation, or generally, when people are using Conferences.io, this is a good time to go to the Q&A now. So that's another really great thing about this presentation mode, is that it allows you to really seamlessly work between the windows here, and I can end my presentation mode if I wanted to, and if there were questions that had come in, I can get back to this social Q&A in just a single click, and at this point I can answer some audience questions. Okay, so I just wanted to show you a quick example of what a blended poll looks like when there are more than one responses in there. So again, we've got polls set up. What industry do you work in? Which of the following social media platforms do you use? We can see that there are a number of results in each of these polls. So if I now go and blend these two together, we're able to see a graph with a lot more responses in it than just that single response like we had in the previous example. So we can see in this one, of the people in tech, here are the platforms that they use, and the breakdown there. Of the people in healthcare, here what they use, etc. So just wanted to show you a quick example of what a blended poll looks like when there are a more realistic number of responses in there.